And welcome back to Grand Chute, Wisconsin, where the 2010 Division III baseball season is over, and somehow Illinois Wesleyan is the 2010 Division III baseball national champions. Illinois Wesleyan, as we've talked about repeatedly over the course of the week, started out 14-17 on April 29th. They lost to Concordia Chicago, going into a series with Elmhurst, Jim Dixon, in which they had to win, I think, basically just to get into the CCIW tournament. They were the bottom seed in the CCIW tournament. They had to come out of the losers bracket, beat Carthage twice on the final day. They were the last seed in the regional tournament, swept that, and they were the team that nobody thought would win the national championship, and all of a sudden, here they are, they're taking home walnut and bronze for 2010.
Sometimes it really makes a lot of sense or easier for you to come up when you're thinking that nobody's respecting you. You sit there, you got nothing to lose, you play loose, and that's what we saw. We saw all week Illinois Wesleyan team that was loose. They were happy to be here. The coach even said, all I want to do is bring home a trophy. I don't know when he found out that the only trophy he handed out was a national championship trophy, but he was able to sit there and get his wish. He brought home a trophy for Illinois Wesleyan.
Illinois Wesleyan, as an athletic department, has 2 national championships here in the spring season. The women's track team came back victorious from Baldwin Wallace College up in Berea, Ohio, with a national championship. And Dennis Martell, of course, was part of a national champion team as an assistant coach for the men's basketball program when they won the title under Denny Bridges back in 1997. But not to gloss over the game itself, it was a bizarre game. Cortland State jumps out on top 2-0, and then, in basketball terms, we would call it a 17-0 run by Illinois Wesleyan to take a big lead.
No, you looked at what Cortland State did in the first game against Linfield, and they just carried it on into the first inning. You felt that, they were going to continue to run, but Cortland hit a wall. They got those 2 runs, and they couldn't do anything about it. Whether it was, not enough conditioning, maybe 2 games was too much. Maybe finally Pankow realized how he was going to pitch. That's why Illinois Wesleyan is in the position they are.
In the post-game news conference, Jason Pankow, who is also named to the all-tournament team here in Grand Chute, talked about how he kind of came into the game with a kind of a power pitching mentality, and then switched to throwing off-speed pitches and keeping the ball off the plate, and that seemed to turn things around a little bit.
It absolutely did. In my mind, Pankow could have been the most outstanding player too. He has 2 wins. He pitched 2 magnificent games. It's just that when you win, you go 5 for 5 with 2 home runs. It's really hard to ignore that kind of performance.
But Pankow did go 7 1/3 today. He had 6 hits, 3 runs. Only one of them were earned, and struck out 9 batters. And one of the nice things, especially for Illinois Wesleyan, about winning 17-5 is you have the luxury to A, get everybody in the game, and B, do some nice things for your seniors. Get some seniors in the game, but also get your stars, because Pankow's not a senior, but get your stars some recognition. And going out and taking Pankow out in the middle of an inning when he was not at all in trouble was certainly a nice touch, I thought.
Absolutely, and both teams were doing that. I think that Cortland emptied the benches, Illinois Wesleyan emptied the benches, and everybody got a chance to play in the national championship game. And I think that shows class, both on the Cortland State coaching staff and also Illinois Wesleyan.
The first game here this afternoon, of course, Cortland State had to beat Linfield just to get into this winner-take-all national title game, and they beat the Wildcats 12-9. For Cortland State to come back and do that, just a couple days after they had gotten absolutely obliterated by Linfield, 25-11 in the second round, just I think shows a lot of heart. It was a tough slog through the losers bracket for them.
It really does, and the one thing that helped them in these games through the losers bracket is they scored early. And they were able to sit there and give their pitchers some time to just take some lumps. Without it, they would not have had a pitching staff today. But they managed to get pitchers to last into 6 or 7 innings. Today, Travis Ratliff pitched an excellent game and went all the way into the 8th inning. So, those bats really saved their pitching staff.
He went 8 1/3, in fact, gave up 9 runs, and that doesn't look like a great line when it's all said and done. But you got to remember This is a guy who couldn't get out of the third inning on Friday in the first round because of blisters on his pitching hand. He comes back 3 days later, and he does the job. He's the workhorse. He probably, I would say, wouldn't have been allowed to give up all 9 runs or go 8 1/3 innings if they hadn't had such a big lead. I think they might have taken him out a little bit earlier, but they gave him a chance to keep going back out there. And Larry Radloff, our guy down near the Cortland dugout taking photos for D3photography.com, kept telling us how Travis Ratliff kept arguing to stay in the game, even though he was looking like he was in trouble in the 6th, looked like he was in trouble in the 7th, and just kind of kept convincing Joe Brown to send him back out there. And what it did was it enabled them to save the bullpen for the second game.
Yes, and unfortunately they didn't need the bullpen to be saved because they just ran into an Illinois Wesleyan team that was just starting to slug the ball, and they probably had one of their best games all year in terms of offensive production.
So Illinois Wesleyan at 31-21, according to our research, if I remember this correctly, just the second 20-loss team to win the Division III Baseball National Championship?
It's actually the only 20-loss team. There have been only one other 20-loss team to actually have been here. So
I'm talking about Cal State Stanislaus. They had 19 losses, I guess. Is that?
I believe that is the case.
So that is the team with the most losses. But what a great story, and what a great 2010 Division III baseball season it was.
It was an absolutely fantastic season, and we hope they have many like this in the future.
So he's Jim Dixon. I'm Pat Coleman, signing off for the final time from Grand Chute, Wisconsin. Thanks to Ryan Coleman, our producer, who's going to be doing a little bit of extra production work on this video, I'm pretty sure. Thanks to the staff here at Fox City Stadium and everybody involved with the Division III Baseball Championships and the NCAA, as this concludes the 2009-2010 Division III sports season. Good afternoon, everybody.